Jamie Bartlett, The Darknet, Inside the Digital Underworld. Wander with us through the uncharted realms of the digital underworld in the book summary of The Darknet, Inside the Digital Underworld by Jamie Bartlett. Explore the intriguing and at times, unsettling truths about life behind the screen, from trolling and political extreme ideologies to online pornography and drug trading. This summary uncovers the deepest aspects of the dark side of the internet, providing an eye-opening glimpse into the lives of anonymous trolls, extremists, and even those who are struggling with their mental health, all seeking solace and connection through the hidden corners of cyberspace.
The Dark Side of Trolls. The author examines the concept of trolling and how it affects individuals and society. Trolling, a phenomenon whereby anonymous chat service or social media users make comments to upset other users and goad them into a reaction, can be especially troubling for high-profile people who are fighting for a controversial cause. By citing the example of feminist journalist Caroline Criado Perez, who received thousands of troubling anti-feminist Twitter messages that contain threats of rape, violence, and murder, the author shows how trolls can cause serious harm to their targets. The author also explores how trolling has evolved from 498 convictions in England and Wales related to aggressive, indecent, or offensive online behavior in 2007 to 1,423 by 2012. Additionally, the author shows that trolling isn't only about threatening other people's lives, as it can be subtle and playful, with some trolls motivated only by a desire to stir up trouble. The online haven for extremists. Social media has become a safe haven for extremist ideologies, from white supremacists to lone terrorists. In today's digital age, social media has become an incognito outlet for people with extremist beliefs. While it's unlikely to meet someone who would say something racist to your face, there are people online who are more vocal about these views. They have found a safe haven on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. These websites have become the preferred platform for people whose ideologies are not accepted by mainstream culture. The British National Party's website, for example, has attracted more visitors than the websites of Labour or conservative political parties. Meanwhile, neo-Nazi groups on Twitter can often be identified by usernames that include the numbers 14 and 88. Online platforms have become the preferred way for white supremacists to meet and exchange ideas. However, it's also the go-to mode of communication for lone terrorists who act alone, like Anders Behring Breivik. Breivik's source of contact with other extremists was entirely online before he carried out the 2011 terrorist attack in Norway. Breivik wrote a 1,516-page manifesto titled 2083, A European Declaration of Independence, where he warned against the threat to the white race and the rise of cultural Marxism. Even though he is now imprisoned, his manifesto is still widely circulated online by his supporters. The frightening reality is that social media has become an easy place for extremists to network and plan. It should not be underestimated as an influential player in promoting radicalization and extremist behaviors. The dark side of pornography. It's easy to stumble on illegal content while browsing porn, which can lead to an increased desire for taboo material. The internet's links and pop-ups make it hard for people to avoid falling deeper into this spiral, despite the fact that most accidentally access it. The Lucy Faithfull Foundation found that 9 out of 10 adults who accessed illegal porn did so unintentionally. The taboo of watching something illegal triggers an adrenaline response that can increase viewer excitement and eventually lead to the viewer seeking out children in pornographic material. This is a major concern for law enforcement, as it is difficult to distinguish whether those caught watching illegal porn did so unintentionally or it was a conscious decision. The dark side of online communities. Online communities have become a refuge for people struggling with serious depression and other mental health problems, but some of these communities can be dangerous. Self-harm and pro-anorexia communities are among the most controversial, and they can have devastating effects on vulnerable people. One of the first self-harm communities was alt.suicide.holiday, created in 1991. Although controversial, these communities can have positive effects on its members, giving support and understanding. The pro-ana community is one of the most dangerous, with a large number of websites devoted to promoting anorexia as a lifestyle choice rather than an illness. A study conducted in 2012 found that at least 10% of young teens have visited pro-ana sites. These sites, however, can have devastating effects on those who fall into their trap, with stories of young people's lives being destroyed by anorexia. The rise and fall of Silk Road. The article describes the story of Silk Road, an online black market that made drug purchasing easy, safe, and secure. The marketplace was highly professional and made transactions possible without revealing the identities of either party involved. Law enforcement agencies monitored Silk Road and arrested its creator. However, Silk Road 2.0 emerged soon after its shutdown, promising even better and safer deals. The rise of amateur porn. In the past, the porn industry relied on contacts, studio space, and professional equipment to create carefully crafted images of actors with specific body types. However, the evolution of webcams has revolutionized the industry, allowing for anyone to broadcast their own performances for money. Websites like Chaturbate offer amateur models the opportunity to solicit tips from viewers in exchange for seeing more, with the site taking a 60% cut of the tokens purchased. The amateur porn industry's success is largely due to the fact that the performers are everyday people with varying body types and an immense range of sexual preferences. Unlike professional porn, which is limited to specific body types and acts, amateur porn is incredibly diverse, and the industry has become a billion-dollar-a-year market, cutting a 20% slice out of the pornography industry. From Meek to Mighty. The rise of cypherpunks, the first digital currency, and the birth of Bitcoin are discussed in this summary. The idea of the Meek inheriting the world resonates with people who feel ostracized, particularly the geeks and nerds. In the 90s, when the internet was in its infancy, a cypherpunk named David Chaum created DigiCash, a digital currency with a unique number assigned to each unit of money. However, a central ledger was necessary to ensure the avoidance of duplication, making it too risky and unsustainable. In 2008, an anonymous cypherpunk named Satoshi introduced Bitcoin. This first functional digital currency used a blockchain, an ordered record of every transaction. Every computer involved in trading Bitcoins perpetually tests for duplication, and the blockchain updates on the computers of every user. This currency is independent of governments, completely secure. The blockchain secures the transactions for a period of 10 minutes, which ends with a hashtag. The rise of cypherpunks and the creation of Bitcoin prove that the meek, ostracized nerds of previous decades have indeed become mighty.
Venturing into the digital underworld is not for the faint of heart. As the highlights of the Darknet book summary indicate, the internet serves as a platform for a variety of diverse communities, from dangerous extremists and anonymous trolls to individuals who suffer in silence with their mental health issues. Online pornography and the world of drug trading have also evolved to exploit the anonymity that the internet affords, making it ever more complicated for law enforcement to keep up. It's crucial to recognize and understand these aspects of the internet so that we may strive for a safer, more educated era of digital life.